Hello again from my front porch, where it is a beautiful day in Iowa, and I mean that sincerely because the last several days have not been. It's been bone-chilling cold, and by that I mean single-digit temperatures, sometimes even below zero. But the wind chill then, definitely negative numbers. And you know when that when that Arctic breeze hits you square on in the face in a parking lot, suck the breath right out of you. Oh man, that was brutal. But today, moving it up into the 40s, gonna melt a lot of this stuff off. Tomorrow's supposed to be just as beautiful and nice, so yay! And so I'll take it. It's good stuff. But the reason I wanted to chat with you today is about something going on in current events. And that is this whole thing about the Chinese weather balloon, spy balloon, actually. And the reason I want to talk about it is not just because of the issue, the topic itself, but because of what it seems to imply, or what may otherwise be going on that is of concern. And if you're not familiar with it, there is this large, big white balloon with some equipment dangling below it that we're told is a Chinese spy balloon. How they know it's from China, I don't know. Maybe they zoomed in with a camera and saw "Made in China" on it or something. but our government officials have said that it is a Chinese spy balloon. We now know that it came in over Alaska, went through part of Canada, and then down into the lower 48 through Montana, and is continuing on because it's at this point still up there. Now, there are many questions that come out of this, and the officials have tried to give a narrative, but the problem is the narrative doesn't track. There are parts of it that are really thin and difficult to believe, and some of the stuff that just doesn't match up, just doesn't make sense. One of the biggest questions that comes up a lot, and even my bestie Tara, who is a Navy veteran, so military, why is the balloon even still up there? If we know it's a Chinese spy balloon, why is it still up there and floating on its way? Now, the Pentagon gave a presentation about it, and they attempted to address that topic. They said that, well, there was, that they certainly are considering shooting it down. They haven't yet, though, because they're worried about collateral damage. They're worried about people being harmed or property damage, that kind of thing. Well, on one hand, okay, great, thank you for being considerate that way, but this thing flew across the wilderness of Alaska. Could have been shot down then. This thing flew across Canada, part of Canada. Now, our radar tracking systems had to have known that it entered U.S. airspace in Alaska. Our radar systems would have still been able to track it all the way through Canada, and certainly once it got into the lower 48. Canada also is able to track stuff. But there was absolutely nothing, no news at all about a Chinese spy satellite going through Canada or Canada's response. I still have not seen anything about that, as if Canada just, oh, whatever. But then it enters the continental United States, and still it continues on its way. Now, in Montana, there are cities, there are small towns, but there's a lot of space between them. Big state with big amounts of space. Plenty of opportunities for them to shoot the thing down, to bring it down in some fashion. They wouldn't even have had to shoot it down. They could bring it down through electronic methods, because apparently, according to our Secretary of State, in a speech he was making about stuff, he referenced not once but twice that somehow the U.S. had managed to be able to jam the ability of this spy balloon from gathering information. Okay, well, if we're able to jam its data gathering, if we're able to interfere with that, you're telling me that we can't do anything to address it mechanically, to tell it to, because a balloon like that has to have internal sensors to compensate for atmospheric issues. And so with that being the case, why couldn't we just tap into those and tell the thing to come down? I don't know. But certainly shoot it down. It's a spy device. Bring it down. I don't care if we've jammed it or not. Just bring the thing down. Somebody on social media said, well, but then we would start an international incident. Hello? We have a Chinese spy balloon entering U.S. airspace. The incident has already begun. That's already there. The big question continues to be, why is it continuing on? And if we have known that it's there from the beginning and we're able to block it, send signal to block it, why do we let it continue on? That's the big lingering question. And the Pentagon keeps saying, well, we haven't taken off the table that we might still shoot it down. What's the holdup? What's the delay? Well, here's where I'm going to wade into my concern, my sincere fear about what may be happening. When Joe Biden was a candidate, before he was the nominee for the Democratic Party, there were those in the Democratic Party expressing concern about him because of his age, because of his long, really close ties to Big Pharma, and they're worried about him being influenced about that. We won't go into that, but think about how much money our government has now paid to those folks for the vaccinations that we just did. But then also, Joe Biden and his family have had really questionable close ties to China in business dealings and otherwise. In fact, the now Republican-led House of Representatives are announcing that they're going to be investigating those things. They should have already been investigated, in my opinion, but they apparently are going to be investigated now. But so there were concerns about, by the way, if you go out and Google those things about either his Joe Biden's worrisome connection with Big Pharma or the potential troubles with his connections with China, good luck finding them. Because while they used to be front page when he was a candidate and the others were jockeying to be the nominee instead of him, that stuff was all over. But now, once he became the nominee, mysteriously, that stuff is harder to find. I'll let you draw your conclusions from there. But there was all that flack that President Trump got about his business dealings with Russia and whether that influenced and clouded or even allowed him to be manipulated for things that benefited Russia. Okay? Why are we not asking those same questions about President Biden? Because clearly he has had business dealings, he and his family, for a long time. Connections that were close enough in China that when he was just a candidate, even his own party was expressing concern about those things. And yet now we have a Chinese spy balloon that all it would take is the President of the United States saying, shoot that thing down. And that thing would be down. Or the President of the United States could say, let it go. Don't shoot it down. Why? I don't know. I'm just positing a thought, a concern. I understand I'm not making an accusation. I could, but I'm not. I'm expressing a concern that I have. Just like there was concern during the Trump administration of influence of Russia or how the ties with Russia might influence decisions or compromise decisions, I think the same concern needs to be given to the current administration and their dealings with China and how that may influence things such as this spy balloon going on right now. Is there a connection? I don't know, but it's certainly worth questioning. And with that wonderful uplifting nugget, I will see you all next time from my front porch.